Down with this sort of thing. Careful now.
What is up everybody and welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to dive into the depths of my FPL team. From the keeper to the forwards, we'll break down every player's potential and discuss why they could be key to your FPL success. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's start with the last line of defence. David Raya from Brentford has been an incredible shot stopper throughout his time at Brentford. He's been racking up clean sheets and making crucial saves. Brentford's solid defensive form from last season makes Raya an excellent budget friendly pick and is certainly one I think managers should be considering. Moving on to the back line, we've got an impressive trio. Kieran Trippier, the ever reliable fullback, has been a great asset for all those who have owned him. Not only is his defensive strength extremely appealing to managers, but Trippier's attacking prowess and ability to deliver pinpoint crosses can also earn you valuable points. Next up we have Trent Alexander-Arnold, a player who needs no introduction. He's not only a defensive staple, but also a creative force for Liverpool. Expect lots of assists and perhaps even some goals from set pieces. Trent is an even more enticing asset for this season due to his new on-field position for Liverpool. Whilst FPL still has him assigned as a defender, Trent has become increasingly involved in the midfield for Liverpool. With Henderson and possibly Fabinho leaving, Trent is likely to be a consistent starter in the middle of the park and thus is a player most managers should be considering for their Game Week 1 teams. Lastly, we have the wildcard pick for this team, Estepinha from Brighton. Whilst Estepinha isn't a new pick for managers who were heavily involved in the FPL last season, the Colombian can still be regarded as a strong differential which will help managers gain rank in the early game weeks. Brighton's defensive stability coupled with Estepinha's attacking instincts could surprise managers with occasional assists and maybe even a goal. My midfield is packed with flair and potential. Jack Grealish, who is now an integral part of the Man City squad, has been one of my favourite assets to own in FPL. Jack was especially helpful to me last season as I was able to bring him into my team whilst he was still a differential. Grealish's dribbling skills and eye for goal make him an exciting prospect who I believe should be in the majority of Game Week 1 teams. Next up we've got our first Arsenal player, which is Martinelli. This Arsenal starlet has been impressing everyone with his performances. He's fast, skillful and can find the back of the net easily. Whilst many managers may be eyeing up Saka as the most optimal Arsenal midfielder to own, I believe going for Martinelli could be a great differential with massive upside. Whilst strong arguments can be made to present Saka as the best Arsenal option to go for, I would argue that Martinelli can be just as good an asset. For example, Saka only has an extra 5 goals and assists than Martinelli with an extra 2 games played. When we appreciate that Martinelli is also 0.5 million cheaper than Saka, then we can understand that there is not so much to separate the two players, and thus I would recommend going for the cheaper option. Next up we have Matoma, who was a revelation last season. Brighton's new attacking talent has caught the eye with his ability to create chances and score goals. Matoma finished last season with a GA of 12 in 24 appearances. This means that he was getting at least 1 return per 2 games he played. Impressive stats for a newcomer to the Premier League. If Brighton are able to continue the previous form into this new Premier League season, then Matoma will definitely be one to watch. Last but not least, we have the talismanic Bruno Fernandes, an FPL favourite and for good reason. His goals, assists and set piece duties make him a must-have in any FPL team. With Bruno now being the captain of Manchester United due to Harry Maguire's dismissal, the Portuguese man will be hungrier than ever to ensure his team are right up there challenging for the league. Bruno was an essential part of United's attacking prowess last season with 8 goals and 8 assists. However, it's important to note that 11 of Bruno's goals and assists came from home games. Now it's time to talk about the goal machines leading our attack. First, Erling Haaland, the man who can't stop scoring. His clinical finishing and aerial ability make him a top tier striker, but beware of potential price fluctuations. With his price now being 14 million at the start of the 23-24 season, managers may feel less inclined to have him in their team from the get-go. However, when it comes to FPL assets, nobody provides more bang for the buck than Erling Haaland does. If you want to do well in FPL this year, make sure to have Haaland in your Game Week 1 team. Gabriel Jesus, who was often overshadowed by other stars at City, has begun to find his feet at Arsenal. Whilst his injury last season did heavily disrupt his form, Jesus has proved that he can be an important player for Arsenal and their attack. Although Martinelli and Saka are the standout attackers for Arsenal, I believe Jesus provides a good low ownership option which can allow for owners to benefit from the brilliance of other Arsenal assets. Neil Maupay from Everton is my final striker pick. Whilst he hasn't been scoring consistently and is competing against Calvert-Lewin, I believe he is an interesting option to have in and around your Game Week 1 squad. Another reason as to why Maupay is currently in my squad is due to Everton having 4 good fixtures for the first 5 game weeks. It's never easy choosing a third striker at the start of the year, so I'd recommend picking a fun differential asset. On my bench, I currently have 3 Luton players and Reece James. Due to the way I like to play FPL, I usually don't put a lot of emphasis into my bench at the start of Game Week 1. The Luton players on my bench allow me to spread funds elsewhere around the team, whilst Reece James will be called upon in Game Week 3. It is important to remember that this team I have created is my first draft for the new FPL season. I am planning to release a more up-to-date video closer to the deadline, which will have my final FPL team for Game Week 1 of the 23-24 season. As of right now though, this is my FPL team for Game Week 1 of the 23/24 Premier League season. Remember, FPL is all about strategy, research and staying up to date with the latest news. Keep an eye on my Twitter at fplfatherted to make sure you're up to date on injuries, form and fixtures in order to maximise your points. Let me know in the comments which players you have in your FPL team and thoughts on mine. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more FPL content. Thanks for watching and good luck.
Nights when you and I sing to you.